Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Excellent. I'm psyched to be on the microphone with you, Aubrey. It's the best part of the week, so no
Yes,
complaints. No
same.
complaints.
No complaints. I have a question for you that's related to a listener question we got. Do you have any pet peeves, Lindsay?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I wish I had taken a second to think about this before we hit record. I do. I
Okay,
know I do, and
I
I'm
have
drawing a
one to
blank. You
share.
tell us
I should
yours,
have
and
had
maybe
you
I'll think of
ask
mine.
me. This happened just yesterday. I'm going to share one of mine, and it's probably one of yours, but you haven't thought about it before.
Yeah.
When you're on hold and there's like music, but then there'll be a voice that says, "Thank you for continuing to hold." And every time I think it's the real person answering the call. So that
Right.
I'm like
Right.
ready to talk. And then, no, nope. And then it goes back to hold music. Like, why can't it just be hold music so that as soon as I hear a voice, I know the call's been answered? And
So
then
are
I
you
don't
like
have to pay such close
mid
attention.
sentence where you're almost talking to a robot, but you're like, hi.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Like, oh, yeah. Oh, it's just a
Oh,
machine. And I
robot
get
again.
fooled so often.
You
It's
get fooled
frustrating.
so that's hilarious. Well, on that same note of, making calls into customer service, a pet peeve
Yeah.
of mine is when I do make that call, and let's say someone answers at the top level, the most general level, and
Mm.
they take my information, my name, my phone number, and then they transfer me, and then that information hasn't been passed through their system. So I have to say it
Yes.
again. And then maybe
Yes.
again, I'm like, why can't you guys sync up on that information? Right? It
Right,
should be
or
pretty
even worse
easy.
if it's not even just your information, but you're kind of sharing the whole
The
problem, the
whole
whole
thing.
story, and then they say, "Okay, let me transfer you to someone who can help you." I'm like, "Oh,
And that's the thing that I need to start pivoting around, right? Because I'll go right into my whole story. Like
totally."
we just got contacted by an insurance company in California for my aunt's house that they're trying to discontinue her insurance.
Oh,
California is going to have a major issue with insurance in the next few years, by
oh
the way.
no.
And so I told my story to like three levels of customer service, right? I
Oof.
went into the whole thing three times until I got to the person who actually needed to hear the story. So
Uh, which is
that goes,
funny, I'm just thinking, I bet that customer service person is like, "My pet peeve is when someone tells me their whole story without bothering to find out if I'm the person that can help them."
so true. I know, because sometimes I feel very, like, socially
Oh,
unaware,
right,
right? When they're like,
sorry.
"Let me transfer you."
I should have asked if you're the person that can help me. My bad.
Right. We need to pivot around these things. Oh my gosh, we love this
Sorry.
is gonna be such a fun episode. That's why you
Yes.
guys should hit follow right now. If you're feeling like you like the vibe of this episode, hit follow because that means that you are the right listener for All Ears English. We believe in connection, not perfection here on the show, and we show you how to connect like we are right now on the microphone.
Yes, absolutely. And if you're not following, you've missed some amazing episodes recently, including the first part of the answer to this question. One of our listeners, Carol, sent in a question. She was asking about passing the bar and pet peeves. So we talked about that one in episode 2042. Check it out if you missed it. And her question was actually inspired by another episode, 1908. So there are just so many great episodes you're missing if you're not following. So hit
Yes, so
follow right now.
yes, hit that follow button. So let's get into what pet peeve actually means. First of all, just lay out
Yes.
the groundwork here, Aubrey.
Right. So
So,
this is just something that you find a little bit irritating. You can have pet peeves about yourself, right? Something that you find you do you're like, "Oh, it's my pet peeve when I am late all the time," maybe. Or it can be something irritating about someone else.
yeah, I wonder where it comes from though. Pet peeves. Why pet? Like, there's really nothing about my dog that bothers me. I think he's perfect. So why?
That's a
you
good
know?
point. Why does it have to do with pets? No one's bothered by their pets. Maybe if their dog's like really like barking all the time at people or something, maybe
Right,
it came from
right.
that originally.
Yeah,
But
I
because
don't know.
the word peeve is we sometimes use it as a verb to say that peeved me, meaning that irritated me. I feel like
Right,
it's
right.
getting a little less common, the verb by itself, but we
Yeah.
definitely use pet peeve all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that verb might be going out of style a little bit, right? I don't
Mhm.
hear it, but I do sometimes hear it, so that's interesting. So why do we add pet? We don't know, but we do, guys, so write it down.
Yes, right? And that's
Yeah.
just such a good way to connect. Write down this whole question just to say, what's one of your pet peeves? I feel like it's a great first date question. It's a great
Oh,
get to know you
yeah.
question, right? And
Yes.
it doesn't have to be like, okay, let me tell you 20 minutes how many things I find annoying,
Oh,
right? You
no,
can
no,
keep
no,
it
you don't wanna
light,
do
just
that.
share like a
Yeah.
fun one like we did at the beginning of the episode.
It's kind of a similar question to, like, "What's your sign?" You know what I mean? It's a good first date question, just getting to know someone, and
Yes.
it's one of those questions we've been talking about this a lot on All Ears English. There are certain questions you can ask or topics which will allow someone to share a lot about themselves, right? A lot more than just their answer. It's
It's
about their
true, you get
values.
a lot
Yeah.
of insight into, like you're
Yes.
saying, their values, what matters to them, are they close to their family? All they have to share is
Yes.
a few sentences about their pet peeve, and you're gonna have learned a lot about them.
A lot. So really cool connection skill today, guys. Now, Aubrey, what about on IELTS? You and Jessica host an amazing podcast over there, right?
Yes, and I wanted to
Mhm.
share an episode that we did not too long ago, episode 803. It was called "Don't Get Irked" by IELTS. This
Mm.
verb, to get irked, is so high level and interesting. We shared quite a bit of vocabulary for different levels of anger, right? And phrases that go along with them. So pet peeve is more the irritation level. Then there's like annoyance, rage. And
Yeah.
so we shared vocabulary for each of those. So definitely go check that out. If you're not following IELTS Energy, we have 2 episodes every week. It's a really great podcast, whether you're studying for IELTS or not, for just great vocabulary.
Yeah, good stuff. So, guys, go on over there and check out the IELTS Energy podcast. Okay, Aubrey, let's get into the second word expression that we want to share for our listeners. What is it?
Yeah, there's lots of other ways to talk about pet peeves, this idea. And the first one is just a complaint, the noun complaint. So this is, anything that is something you would complain about, and it's
Mhm.
always negative, right? You're never going to have a complaint about something positive, something you like.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, this is a very straightforward noun. So some examples, right? Do you have any complaints about the service? Right?
Yeah, you might hear that at a restaurant, right? If they're asking you to fill out a comment card, or at a
Yeah.
retail shop, if maybe there's been a problem, the manager might ask you this: "Do you have any complaints about the service?" It's a little more formal, a little more procedural.
And I love the second example because it's so natural. It's what I used at the top of
Yes.
the show. You said, "How are you?" And I said, "No complaints. All good." Right?
Right.
Life
We
is
use
good.
this all
Yeah.
the time as just a response to, "How are you doing?" It's so much more fun than just, "I'm fine." It's such a
Yes.
native, natural way to respond, to say, "No complaints."
Yes, I love that, guy. So write that one down, especially today, right? Make
Mhm.
sure that you kind of remember that and try that out in a conversation to connect, to answer, "How are you?" instead of "I'm fine." Let's get away from "I'm fine," right?
And it
Let's get
doesn't
away
have to
from
be
there.
literally true, right? You may actually have complaints about something,
Sure,
but
sure.
just
Yeah.
like "I'm fine," we say just to mean like, it's
Yes.
everything's fine. I'm not gonna give you all the details of everything going on. It doesn't have to be exactly true that you don't
That's
have
right.
any complaints. It just means like, "I'm great. I'm great. How are you?"
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about in the past how, "How are you?" is not really a question, right? It's more of a greeting. It's
Exactly.
more of an opener and so we need to know how to respond properly. There could be some cultural things we want to think about here. Maybe in your language, it's actually a
Mhm.
question, right? That depends on your culture.
Exactly.
So very
Exactly.
interesting.
Yep,
Yeah.
so this, you can know that nobody's going to expect that your life is perfect and nothing's going wrong in your life. If you say no complaints, it just means like, "I'm fine."
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so number 3, Aubrey, is grievance. This is a noun. It has 2
Mhm.
meanings.
Yeah.
So,
So the first one is a feeling of resentment over something that is wrong or unfair, or it's believed to be unfair, right? And we often collocate with this with the verb to nurse, which means
mm,
to almost like encourage for yourself. Like an example is, she's nursing a grievance about how she was treated by the staff. So this sort of
mhm,
means you're dwelling on it, right? You have this
okay.
complaint, you have this grievance, and you're not just letting it go really quickly. Maybe you're telling everyone you know about it. You're really upset. We would say
Yeah.
you're nursing a grievance.
And the idea here is to express that it's too much, right? Aubrey just like,
Yeah.
you should kind of move on or take action and then move on, right?
Yeah, that's definitely implied here, right? We might say this about someone else if we feel like they do, it's too much complaining, like they kind of need to forgive and forget and move on. Yeah, then we might say that they're nursing a grievance.
Yep. And the second way we would use it would be in an official statement of a complaint over something believed to be wrong or unfair. I'm thinking about maybe like an HOA or something would write a
Yeah,
grievance to a neighbor. Do you have an
exactly.
HOA, a homeowners
We
association?
do have an HOA, and I definitely have a list of grievances that I have with my HOA because they're
Oh,
kind of
God.
busybodies. A couple of the
Oh,
people on the
no.
board will, like, come to your back door and, like, look over your yard to see if
What?
you have any infractions. I'm like,
Are
"Mind
you
your business."
serious?
Yes,
Oh, that's so annoying.
it
Okay.
is. Our neighbors have a chicken coop, which is actually against the HOA's regulations. And one of the board members is always like looking to see if they've gotten rid of their chickens because they keep fining them for having chickens.
Oh my gosh,
They
wow.
mean business. They're pretty
They
strict, the
really
HOA here.
So you should submit a list of grievances to
I
the
should.
HOA. I recommend
I think I
it.
should. I agree. Yeah, this is a little more again procedural, right? You might submit a list of grievances to a boss or to maybe in court. You might have a list of grievances if you're suing someone or making more of a formal complaint about
Yes.
something.
Yes, for sure. So this does become goes through some kind of an institution usually. And an
Yes.
HOA is kind of an institution. I suppose that would qualify as an
Yeah.
institution. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Though I do think that I use this to exaggerate in sort of a playful way, right? If
Yeah.
someone does something I don't like, my children, for example, if they haven't done the laundry for a couple days, I might say, like, all right, I've got a list of grievances, kids, like to get on them about doing their chores,
That's
right?
cute.
And it's, of
Yeah.
course, not official like that. We sort of use it to be playful and
Oh, yeah.
exaggerate that way.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, guys, it's all about being playful, right? Connecting. Many of the more serious words that we teach you on this show can be turned around and used in a fun way to actually connect and play, right? We're playing through language. Yeah.
Yes, someone might say this to you just like, "Oh, like, I have a grievance of whatever it is,
Yeah.
something you've done," and maybe you're
Right.
playing a game
Yeah.
and, you win or you break a rule or something, they might say this, shake their fist in the air and say, "Alright, I
Yeah.
have a grievance here," just like to make a joke.
I love it. So good. So let's show our listeners how we do it in a role play.
Perfect. In this role play, you and I work at a government agency, and we're looking through a list of
Ooh.
complaints.
All right, here we go. So we need to divide these into serious grievances and complaints that are kind of petty.
Oh, it's tricky because it's kind of subjective.
Yeah, we need a basis to judge by. Perhaps anything with legal repercussions we'll consider more serious.
Great idea. Awesome. So we are
Mm,
right there in the beginning. Serious grievances. We're talking about something that maybe would have a legal repercussion. So often, if someone's working at a government agency or for an HOA, they're going to be receiving lots of complaints and grievances. And some of them might be very important and have to be taken
yes.
seriously. And
Hmm.
others might be, like we say in the role play here, petty. That's a good bonus word.
That's a great bonus word for today. I'm sure that will be in the app. The iOS Android
Definitely.
app is a keyword that our listeners, guys, if you do use the app, you could tap on that and add it to your power list. But what does it mean, petty?
Yeah, it
I
means
think,
unimportant or insignificant, and
mhm,
often in almost a spiteful way. Like maybe a complaint that is intentionally trying to get someone in trouble or have a consequence for them that is unjustified or
yeah.
unfair, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And we get this feeling when you get into an exchange with someone and they're acting petty, right? It's not a good feeling. You just it's not good.
Exactly, right? There's a very negative connotation here. You would never wanna call someone petty if you're
Mhm.
not wanting to, either hurt their feelings, offend them, or really get them to change their behavior, because this is a very negative way to act. It's very much
Yes.
frowned upon,
Yes.
where you're taking things less seriously than they should
Mhm.
be, or maybe you're being unkind or mean or spiteful over something that is not important, that is not a big deal.
Right, or maybe you're holding a grudge. That would be an example of something
Yes.
that's kind of petty, and then maybe someone's done something to you, and then a petty thing to do would be to hold a grudge and then take it out the next time somehow,
Right.
right?
It
Yeah.
often comes down
Ugh.
to that, forgive and forget any sort of
Yeah.
small infractions, small offenses. If we can just forgive, move on, move past it, then we're going to avoid that petty behavior that might come up if we're holding those grudges.
Oh my gosh, and that really pulls you down, right? Too, if you remember those things and oh gosh, awful way to live. Yeah, we gotta
Yes,
move on. So,
absolutely.
all
Yes.
right, what's the takeaway for today, Aubrey?
Yeah, I think, though we often seek to be positive and always just sharing positive things, sometimes a great way to build connection is to talk about something a little more negative, like the pet peeves that you might have, something that has come up as far as adversity in someone's life. If someone
Mhm.
has a grievance or a complaint, often they'll need to vent about that, and that is also a great way to connect.
Oh, yeah, and again, sharing a pet peeve, we've shown you guys how to keep it light at the beginning of the episode, and then we got a little deeper towards the end of the episode, so you can see how this concept can go across many different types of conversations, right? But
Absolutely.
just asking someone about their pet peeves is a really nice way to kind of start. When you know someone, getting to know them, it's fun to know those things, right? So prepare your
Absolutely.
answer if you do get into that kind of conversation.
Yeah, be ready with a fun or a funny pet peeve to share. And definitely use this phrase, no complaints. Next time somebody
Yeah.
asks, how are you doing? This is a great way to respond.
Definitely. That would be a way to level up and move to that 99% fluency level. All right, Aubrey, you have a good day, and I'll see you next time on the show.
Awesome. See you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.